Perfect. So we will start recording now. Wonderful. So this 1 p.m. Colombia, 2 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. I think in Mexico as well. So welcome everyone. Welcome with this another webinar for the POMS LAC chapter. I'm Edgar Gutierrez, the president of the POMS LAC, and this is what we will do today. So we'll start with a very short presentation about our chapter, so people start coming out. We have
آره
more
دارم
people
وصل میشم.
arriving. I
من
will
صدا
present
رو
a new
ندارم.
member of our chapter, and then we'll have the wonderful presentation from Professor Mostafa. So let me start with the presentation of our chapter. Um, Let me see here. So I think you guys can see my screen now. All right, so the POMS Latin America and Caribbean chapter is part of the Production and Operation Management Society, as you may know, that is located in the United States. So we have three main objectives. First, promote the interest in the field of production and operation management, to have communication and knowledge sharing. That's why we are here. And obviously, encourage the exchange of ideas, experiences, and knowledge with the people in the region. So, despite to being an Latin American and Caribbean chapter, we have members from all over the world. So, we have Latin Americans, Caribbeans, and friends. So, we are very happy for that. This is the new chapter board. We have Professor Trilce, Professor Agatha, Professor Carlos, Professor Carla, Professor Sofia, and Professor Daniel. So we have new members. Daniel is one of the members new today. He will be in charge of this presentation. And most of them there are in American universities and Latin American universities. But also, we have a lot of ex officio advisors. And you can see there are past presidents, past VP American presidents, and people from universities in Brazil, United States, and other parts of Latin America. I will mention all of them. You already have it, and there are some names that you can. All right, this is our recent activities. We have a lot of webinars, workshop, and master classes. So you make sure go to our YouTube channel. I will write the channel in a few moments in our chat. So make sure to have it. Go see. We have people from industry, from academia. They have a wonderful talks. Today's talk will be there. So if you want to repeat it or if you want to share with your friends, go ahead. So they say today we have Professor Mostafa, a dear friend of mine. I'm so happy in a personal note to have you here. I know we have this invitation and we have arranges, so we are very honored to have you, Mostafa, between us. We will present you as you deserve. Daniel will that, but from our heart, we are very, very happy to have you. Professor Mostafa is a professor, distinguished research professor at Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico. We have May 9, we have an online webinar. There will be applications in operations research in production and operation management. So if you want to go, that will be with our friends and colleagues in Bolivia. Also, we will have our chapter meeting in Reno, Nevada. That will be very soon, next week. The pumps and another announcement. We'll have a track in the Congress of Operation Research in Colombia. So this is the conference that I'm saying, the 36th annual Pumps Conference, and I mentioned next week that will be in Reno, Nevada. So if you want to go, make sure we still have time. If not, make sure to have all the news that will be over there. All right, so how to join us? This is one of the questions that I will get. Go to poms.org membership. As you can see, it's $5. $5 for Latin America and Caribbean. So with that, you will have access to another tutorials, workshops, obviously some discounts for our partners in the region. All right, so with that, we want to thank you, all of you, for being here. See, we have 41 people. That is one of the most amazing time. The people that is around all Latin America. I see some of people in Brazil, in Mexico. Oh, we're very happy for that. All right. So with that, I will pass
Tu historia,
word to Daniel. Daniel, please go ahead
la
and
última.
welcome everyone. And thank you again, Mustafa, for being with us today. Go ahead, Daniel.
All right.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
Thank you very much. So I just want to be quick here. I just want to present a professor in Tecnológico Monterrey, a new VP of meetings here in POMS, Latin America. And happy to host here Dr. Mostafa, a globally recognized scholar in supply chain management with significant contribution to sustainable logistic optimization and energy supply chains. So I'm happy to hear the presentation. So we can start right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Daniel, and also my friend Edgar for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, POMS, all the colleagues that are working there, and a very good presentation. And also, I invite all my colleagues and students to join to this great association. This is my honor to be there. I think more than 3 years I'm working with them, and hopefully we can improve the chapter of the LATAM, maybe day to day, very maybe strong. Yeah, thank you very much. With your permission, I'm going to start my presentation for today, about maybe 14 minutes. Uh, can you see my screen? Yes? No problem. Okay, thank you very much. So, yeah, today I'm talking about the recent problems in our world, especially after World War. It's like a world war actually between United States and Iran, and something that happened recently in our world that affect on supply chains. Okay, so we are talking today about the resilient supply chain, mainly on the global supply chain, and how we can manage the such maybe disruption to be more resilient. Okay, so let us start with some maybe important facts. So as you know, I am Mustafa. I'm a professor at Tec de Monterrey, and they introduced me, and so I am professor at Tec de Monterrey in campus Puebla. So maybe every day in media you can see that something is happening around us, especially in the economy. The first is like maybe gasoline and maybe its impact on different maybe price of the food and something like that. And so let us see what is happening according to the real time, maybe data and statistics. The first one is that let us accept that we are in the era of the globalization and we cannot like a think locally. The best thing is that like a think global and act local. So now we are in the peak of the globalization, means that everything is connected, and the global supply chain actually is very important, and we cannot like live alone. This is the first thing that we should accept. And also after COVID, after pandemic, we can see that the price of, like, for example, food again reached to one peak, and that is very important to consider. So the important point is that it affects and it has its own consequences, especially on the food future, like jobs, some changes. It's like a restart in our world. And we should think about the future that is happening around us, especially in industries and supply chain. And you can see again the price of the oil, petroleum, crude oil increased, and we can understand in our daily life. In some countries, the price of the oil increased more than other countries. This is another important, like a fact that we will talk about it later. And some countries have different maybe strategies of the oil, maybe to reduce the maybe subsidy or increase the subsides or maybe tax or something like that. One important fact that maybe is interesting, for us is that who is the biggest customer of the Iranian oil? If you understand the answer of this question, we can see what is happening around us. Maybe in media, they say that no, the reason for this war is not oil, is not supply chain, is not China. But you can see, according to these statistics, I want to give you one clue, that China is the biggest buyer, maybe more than 90%. And at that time, United States is coming to like a Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz. And so I'm not talking in this presentation like maybe politically, but scientifically, that affects directly on our business, okay? So if you understand, I don't want to talk a lot about this slide, but if you understand the answer of this question, so you can have a better vision about the future and about the past and what is happening and what will affect on our life maybe later in maybe after Iran, as Trump said, like Cuba, Mexico, Turkey, China, Russia. So we can find the clue and understand and anticipate, and we can improve our supply chain to make it like a resilient. We have one word, we call it disaster. Disaster comes from disaster. Aster means like a star, asteria, astronomy. And disaster happened in our life maybe like more than 3,000 years ago. And in the future slide, I will talk about it. But disaster has different types, maybe like a hurricane, flood, like earthquake, and also by human, like a war. And let us review. Now you can understand that Professor Hossein is also in our campus, and it's our honor to be his host, to host him in this week from University of Ottawa. He's very famous, and he's now in our meeting. He's very famous in wildfire, and you know what is happening about wildfire in United States and Canada. You can see a lot of the hurricane, flood, storm, wildfire, recently wildfire in California. And also you can see the amount of the natural disaster contributed around us. So we can divide it like a very easily, like very by nature and human made one, like a war. The recent, maybe serious one was pandemic. If you remember, in the front desk was pandemic, but in the background was the war of the chips. You understand, and you have experienced, all of us, that we saw the increase of the price of the cars around us. Okay, so all of them are facts, and just for introduction. And now we are dealing with the problems of the closing of this estrecho or Strait of Hormuz. Is in the south of Iran, in Persian Gulf, and they hindered and they closed this strait during this war. And we are in the middle of this war. And can you imagine what are the consequences after maybe 6 months, 1 year, an effect on the, with like a gasoline in European countries for the like a 40 liters, you should pay more than 100 euros. And still some companies are producing car with engine of like the gasoline engine. So if you are smart, if you are expert in anticipation, if you are agile, so you understand what is happening and what will be the early future market of the combustion engine cars in Europe. Okay, so and meanwhile, there are a lot of countries that without importing the commodities and food, they cannot be alive anymore. So it means that such disasters affects directly on their food and their lives. And they have some strategies in some countries about the subsidies and maybe tax, like Mexico, about the price of the gasoline. So anyway, another important point, we are just in introduction now, and we are just going to finish this part. The rare, tierras, like rare earths. And this is another trend that you can work on this one, because I'm talking to the master and PhD students, especially that they want to start their works on supply chain and maybe thesis or global supply chain or resilient supply chain. You can find a lot in my presentation today, especially about this one. This will be very important. You can see China, Brazil, India, that they have like a rare earths. It means that very, very special, like lithium, like uranium, that they have it. And so they are the winner in the next like decades. And so it is another topic that can be very new for the titles of the supply chain. Okay. Anyway, what should we do? What should we do after knowing this one? All of us like it became like a crazy that how we can handle all of the point like disaster, maybe gasoline, oil, war, or something like that. But let us review. We are not the or the maybe the early or the primary human that we are living in the earth. So let us see what happened before, and our like grandfathers, grandmothers, abuelos, abuelas, they did what was the like a strategy in front of the disasters. Let us see together. Before starting, let us review the word resiliency. Resiliency actually is let me read maybe literal, the power or ability to become strong, health, or successful again after recovering readily from illness, depression, or adversity. So we should accept the disasters. We should have a strategy to be alive after disaster. The good point is that we are in a stochastic universe and chaos. The point is that disaster doesn't mean that after any like maybe problem, events, wildfire, war, you should lose your maybe a business. Um, but in contrary, you can be maybe like, for example, some electronic like e-commerce after pandemic, they became better and better. They use this opportunity. Okay, so if you know exactly the rules, not only you not be like a loser, but also you will be maybe a winner, and you can improve your business. So let us see what is happening about the resiliency. The most important thing is that someone think that in front of disaster they should like have a fear or fight or no. The first point is to accept disaster, and this is a very good like to be um, to have a baby in your stomach. So this is like a disaster in your body. Okay, you should accept it. You should go through it, not over it. You shouldn't fight with it. You shouldn't be afraid of something. Okay, you should tolerate it and have different strategy. Consulter, going to doctor to give you some maybe protein, vitamin to help you to pass those days. And after that, why not? You have a very beautiful, like a baby, like a girl or boy. Okay? So, and also there are some maybe tricks that you cannot stop the rain from falling, but you can look for holes in your roof. Okay, so please calm down, and so you can understand and you can hear some maybe previous like words or some strategies that can help you. And finally, if you are strong, you can be alive. You can stay, and maybe you can improve your business after some disasters. Okay, resilience is a choice. Actually, if you can like look at some animals after some disasters, if you you are like a borrego, cordero, like maybe like a horse, like one bird. They don't have that much like a course like we have. We are like a human that we have. The point is that is a choice. Maybe like one ant, no choice in front of like the rainy days. Okay, but we can have a strategy. We can make a strategy. We can make a statement. We can make a choice. We can build. We can design the new maybe a strategy or maybe way to escape or maybe to handle or above that maybe to use that opportunity. Like one wave is like a disaster in ocean. Someone is being moved by that wave. Ola. Someone is overdone this wave. Someone make this wave like a direction. Okay, so it's better to be a person or a manager that can manage the direction of the wave in the ocean. Okay, if you are afraid of something, so you will be the loser. Maybe you have read the book. Say, Who Moved My Cheese? Okay, two human and two like mice. So one day they found that there is no cheese in like almacen in the warehouse. So this is a kind of disaster. And if you read this book, there are four strategies in that situation, and so you can see the different strategies to handle and to solve the problem. So we have like a family resilience. Let me pass this slide. And community resilience, we support each other so you can understand what is happening. This is the time is very short, but you can see what is happening around it. And also there are some maybe pillars or points. If you have a more connection, if you have more if you are more confident, if you have like a more contribution, novelty, maybe involving, if you have like a self-control of yourself, so you can pass this disaster every day. Actually, in that meaning, literally every day we have a disaster. Okay, so all of you are maybe a part of like a supply chain. So now past like a 20 minutes, so we have time. The supply chain. I passed this slide. The meaning of a supply chain. We have supply chain captain. And so in a supply chain, you can see a lot of warehousing, transportation that we call it logistics. So two mainly costs for a supply chain is warehousing and transportation, and both of them don't add any value of your product that you have it. Okay, so if you move it to Colombia, to Mexico, no adding a value. If you put it like 1 year in Almacen, no adding value. They are pure costs. And they are very like a different behavior in cost. And at the same time, they have the very opposite like a behavior in cost, warehousing and transportation. The big refrigerator you have in your house, the less times that you need to go to like a Costco. Like here, if you have like a big refrigerator, so less transportation time. So we have other costs in supply chain, but mainly we are working on like a transportation. And transportation is not only is a costly, but also is like sometimes is not possible because you remember during COVID, war, and the canals. So everything is connected in supply chain that you can imagine simply if you receive a water or pan or maybe bread every day. So a long story behind it. Okay. So especially in Mexico, we have a lot of ports. Is a country of logistics. We have some ports here. Mexico is one of the top 5 in electronic industry, top 5 in automotive industry, and they produce more than 4 million cars every year. One of the top 10 in FDI, foreign direct investment. One of the top like a 12 in like economy in the general index in GDP, gross domestic production, and very good. And more than 80% of the export from Mexico goes to United States. 80% of the export of this country goes directly to United States. More than 400 million customers in the arriba in the upper side, and in the down in Central and South America. They have in the same time zone, and a lot of countries are customers of Mexico. And the increase rate of the export in Mexico in the last year was 30%, 30%, the increase of the export. And so you can see the Chinese companies, European countries, and Indian companies, they are rushing to Mexico. And this is very important, especially during the last 2 years, 3 years. And if I go to the market, and maybe I can see a lot of like a Chinese here, and it is very good for Mexico that in the term of like a near shoring, and that is another maybe a story that you have. So yeah, after like Mexico is the blue one. After NAFTA, Mexico was this chart is the share in U.S. total imports. So Mexico was the winner after NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, and then after China became to a WTO, World Trade Organization, a member. So China was the winner to send more products to the United States. And what happened here? Look at this slide carefully. COVID-19 was a disaster. Maybe most of you are Mexican. Viva Mexico. So more COVID-19 was maybe the main disaster during like the 50 years or the last century. It was bad for Mexico or good to improve the export to United States? Good. Okay. So it was disaster, but Mexico became the winner in front of China. So all disasters are not bad. All disasters are not only threat. Maybe it should be like opportunity. So this is a chaos. We are living in a stochastic, like a market universe. So if you have a good strategy, you can improve your business. Now we have Zoom. This is the Zoom platform. Before COVID-19, no one knew like a Zoom, but now everything is connected. Okay, so. Okay. So, and I'm telling this slide to most of our students. All of us are looking at supply chain like a line. Maybe I or maybe my colleagues are teaching me supply chain like a line, but this is not correct now. We can show maybe like an environment, like atmosphere, like an ecosystem. Supply chain is now like an ecosystem. Okay. If we cannot understand some of the preliminaries literally, we cannot make a decision about supply chain. A lot of companies, my experience in industries are more than like my teaching or maybe research experience. I have more than 20 years of experience with different industries with more than 30 countries, and I can speak in maybe more than 5 languages, and I understand what is happening around the world. The point is that our managers, board members at the beginning, they have problem about the preliminaries. And this is very important to understand the different context and impact of like the supply chain. So I should pass this slide, but this is a very point. And also we have like a traditional supply chain, and now we have like a digital supply chain ecosystem. But unfortunately, at least as far as I know, in Mexico, they don't have that much like familiarity with the digital supply chain. Okay, and look at this like a top 10 supply chain trends, like a big data, digital supply chain risk resilience, artificial intelligence, smart logistics. Maybe circular sustainability. So, but in reality, we don't have it. We have like a one paper with my PhD student Olamreza Hasseli about cloud supply chain. He's also in our meeting now. You can raise your hand in Zoom, Olamreza. With the honor, so he published this paper in TRE, is like a star supply chain, a star journal. And recently in 2026, and you can read more about the cloud supply chain. Maybe this is the fourth paper about cloud supply chain. Even in academia, we are new, okay? So, just maybe some other trends. You can see, have you heard about the dark companies? It means that no need to have like a light loose in our company because they are working 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days. Like in German, say Ruhm in die Uhr, or round the clock production. What is happening after those military in 2030? What is happening? What will happen? These are more than important, but it's very amazing that none of us are thinking about this one. And still, I as a professor and our colleagues, we are teaching like in this way, like a line. There is a supplier in China, send product, and so we should produce and send to the market. No, this is not supply chain. This is just maybe like defining like a supply chain for like a kindergarten, but in reality is different. Okay. So anyway, let us the last part of my presentation. I only have like a 10 minutes. In comparison with a normal, like maybe like the best practice, maybe benchmark. If you have like expectation more than 20% every year, like to have like a like benefit in comparison with like in simulation. In a situation that you are dealing with the disruption, so at the same time, in one like a DHL study, is about 9%. You lose your money. It means that no benefit, and also in the same like normal year, you expect to have more than 20 years, 20%, 20% plus 9%, almost more than 21% plus 9%, almost more than 30%, 30%, you are losing your money. What does that mean? It means that we should convince our manager to invest on some infrastructures, system, consultants to be ready against the disasters. Okay? I will show you later in one slide. Let me go back on. Just this one. If you have like infrastructure projects in a one paper in decision support system, a very good journal published last year. So you can say that you can expect like a ROI percent of the return of investment four times. But our managers are still thinking about that. For example, electric car, BYD is good, or Chinese car is good, or no? No, they got the universe of the whole the world. But you are still thinking, and you don't want to pay money for the resilient infrastructure projects, and you don't have any consultant about it, and the time is going, and the time is passing. Okay, so let us go to maybe give you some maybe hints. In front of it's about the like war political issues that we have, like maybe it is not new, like maybe 200 years before Jesus, before Christian. We have a lot of wars, World War One, World War Two, 9/11, pandemic. Maybe you can see it like Palestine, Israel. And this is very important to look at this one. Who wants change? Who wants to change? All of us, we like change. But who wants to change? No one. It's very important. It's very important. I am here to telling you how to fish, how to pescar. There are some very, very small, narrow points, but very important, more than important. Okay, it's better to understand. It's like industrial engineering is like an ocean, but like maybe 10 centimeter to be deep, more deep. Okay, and every day we have like a supply chain volatility. I will share this slide with you, and you can read there. Maybe I have like only 10 minutes. But there are some pillars that can help us. First of all, like if you go to hospital to see a doctor, visibility intelligence. The doctor says that please go to the to do the test analysis for your body. Okay, like MRI, a scan, or maybe blood test or something like that. So this relates to infrastructure. Most of our companies don't have like a digital twin. The next one is like a strategic diversification and flexibility. The thing is that our managers are very, very slow about the diversification and flexibility. They say that, no, I'm happy with my supplier. Number two. Number three, a smart inventory and a strategy, because inventory affects on 2 points in supply chain: one, transportation and warehousing. And say second is warehousing. And they have the opposite behavior, as I showed you. And they don't add any value on your product. Okay. So inventory is more than important. Now we are still teaching just in time, but now we need to just in case. Think about it. You can ask ChatGPT, what is the difference between just in time and just in case? Some of my colleagues even, they don't know the difference between supply chain and logistics. I am telling to my student, be careful about such words. What is the difference about supply chain and logistics? Okay, so be careful about such words, and this is the secrets that that give you. And finally, like a deep collaboration and partnership, not to be only reaction, but to be to be a proactive. Before action, you should be proactive. It means that you should make a response to some maybe changes. And and handling your partnership like orchestra. They have a harmony in supply chain. You know the word chain in supply chain? Why do you say like a chain? There are a lot of secrets on this word. If you understand the chain, you understand a lot of stories about integration, like orchestra, collaboration, or something like that. Why do we say chain? Not do we say like a partner or connected? Okay, think about it. And so supply chain is a complex one. We should make it or keep it or make it short and simple. Always I say to my student, keep it short and simple. The abbreviation is KISS. Okay. So let me pass because this is like, and also maybe I have maybe online less than like 6 minutes. First, understand the risk. I recommend all of us should understand the formula for the risk. If we reduce the risk by AI data, maybe analysis, we can improve our resiliency. So the risk is the multiplication of the impact, duration, and likelihood. Maybe even some of you say that, yeah, I'm working on maybe quantitative approach, qualitative approach. No need to understand the risk. No, risk is the main motivation. If you look at my papers, I have published like more than 200 papers, like all of them in Q1. But in most of them, I'm telling you personally that we didn't consider like a risk. It means that my paper is not suitable and good for industry because I didn't consider risk. Okay, optimization without risk are not useful. Okay, and you can see some maybe examples for DHL, and you can see the geographic volatility increased the level of the importance in risk after especially the recent war. And having a digital twin for supply chain is very helpful. Maybe you passed maybe more than 80% of your journey to handle that disaster or disruption. Okay, and the word disaster, disruption. Okay, think about it. It's very important and helpful. The second one is that test assumption, track changes, and do the simulation. And I recommend to think out of the box. You will be the winner. You will be the first person. You will be king of maybe yourself and your company, and have a very, very innovative. That's why I am telling that any supply chain manager, maybe every year, every month, maybe every week, they should pass one course about the creativity, innovation. So we cannot solve the supply chain problem like resiliency disruption with the ordinary like a prescription. You should think out of the box, and that much that some of your colleagues may be laughing at you. Okay, so geography matters. You know why our grandparents made the cities like this? Think about it. Why? Because they had some problem with disasters, wars. This is not new. Okay, why in Madrid the cities are the same as this one? Why? Our grandparents, ancestors, they reached to this point. Okay, have you thought about this one, like a holonic one, like a fractional? And you can see they make your supply chain like SBU or SU, strategic business unit. And here is SOP, but strategic business unit, another abbreviation or hierarchy, and holon, we call it holonic system. There are a lot of papers about holonic system in supply chain. It's like a distributed system. It means that you can handle your, like a cart, you can handle your supply chain better in parallel. There are some strategies, okay? You can use that one. This is a mix of like having like a circle and also have like a maybe like a tile. And you can see even about maybe like 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago in China. I was in China, and they're like a forbidden city. If you visited forbidden city, why there is like a alberca pool around this one, or Great Wall. I visited Great Wall in China. So I think if you like make like a wall around Mexico, the Great Wall is 2 times more than like the whole the borders of that we have in Mexico. Okay, so and the most important point here, and how many straits here? Panama, Strait of Malacca, Strait of Hormuz that we have problem now. Bab al Mandab, Suez Canal, Turkish Strait, and Gibraltar that we have. And so they are very important in your decision about supply chain. Why Trump says that I'm going to occupy the Greenland and Canada is important now for the United States? Because China and Russia made a new barco, new ship that they can maybe break the ice in the North Pillar and come to the United States with the shorter, and there is no need to the like straits. Okay, so let us review sometimes. I have like I think less than 5 minutes. So you can see the main one, the Bab al Mandab. Now with the Yemeni, they have problem, and in Suez Canal you should pay a lot for your ships, and this is longer to pass the South Africa, or we say like Cape of Good Hope, and so to reach Europe. Okay, and so there are a lot of examples that I am teaching in my class, like a Suez Canal passing here to reach. Let us just review the main one. And like the Silk Road that I am telling you now. And one project here for Bandar Abbas or Chabahar, going passing to Iran to the north, like Russia, and then going to. And if you ask me, actually, the background of every war, like Russia and Ukraine, now here, the main reason is supply chain. The main reason is supply chain. Let me tell you. Do you know this person, Marco Polo, Silk Road, the Ruta de Seda, I think. You can see here the problem during the history. It was from China. If you want to maybe draw a line between China, the direct line is the shorter line. Okay, the shortest one. You can see from China, Afghanistan, Iran, Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Palestine, and Israel. And it's amazing that you can hear these countries all around the every day in media. Israel, Palestine, Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. In the last 3 decades, all the wars of the world were there. Why? Because of supply chain. Because of supply chain. They don't allow to have like a direct line from China to Europe, to the west. To the west. This is the Puerta of the West. And this is like a opioid, like a problem and war. You know this person? Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus, wrongly, we accepted that he discovered the American continent. No, there were more than 10 million people living here. Okay? So they came here. Why Christopher Columbus came to American continent? Supply chain. They wanted to find a new way to India. Okay, the problem was the supply chain. If you look at all wars in history, I promise you that problem was supply chain, money. Okay, so and it's a bit like I think or shame or bad thing that we don't teach these slides, or maybe the supply chain or logistic of the cartels from South Africa to the north. But the first question, I have a lot of Chinese maybe customers from China. They wanted to come to Mexico. You can guess what is the first question that they ask me? Mostafa, is that Mexico safe? Which city is safe? What is the root of the like a cartel? Why don't we teach this slide in our classes? This is a disaster. This is a disruption. We should accept it. We should think about it. We should consider as a case. Okay, you can see that like Guadalajara, El Mencho, or something like that. So this is very important. And there is like a case. I'm telling you to the Mexican one, Colombian one, my parceros there, that they can think about it, okay? And day to day we can like a cheap, and this is like a cheaper person. Okay, so in our like my country we have like a proverb that please drink the water from the origin. Look at the word, the verbs in Spanish. Viene y proviene. What is the difference? Viene, proviene. So proviene is like from the mountain, okay, montañas, the water. So solve your problem with the upstream, out of the walls, out of the box. Think global and act local. Think global and act local. Don't look at the problems like maybe locally, okay? So supplier, reshore. What does that mean? Offshore, nearshoring, reshoring. Why our managers are not that much flexible and they are afraid of investing in another country? Okay, downstream structures, inventory matters are very important. So I don't have time, but I'm telling you that process, procedures, what and why, big picture, how. We should make it different in our daily life. Even, okay? So some parts are very big, like a technique and tactic, process and procedures. So just giving you some points to giving and visibility. And now with the like a digital twin, we have it. And the last part, I just only 1 minute. Understand the risk and have like a scenario, like a tables. You have like a best case, average case, worst case. Think about it. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Do brainstorming. Do like a Ishikawa, why diagrams in your maybe company. Understand deeply about the risk and don't put like a vet. We say like a vet blanco. Vet blanco means that like the vet cover. That so if everyone says like something new, don't underestimate it. Don't push them down. Okay. So and you can have like some modes. Speed of the Suez Canal is better, or Cape. Cape is like going down to the maybe Cape Town or maybe South Africa. Okay, so be careful about the points. Understand and accept different ideas. So, if you in such meeting, if you hear someone like Catalina, my colleague and my friend, if says, for example, something new, and so someone else maybe start laughing, and no, Catalina, not that much like happens in the future. But if you can see someone is laughing to that one, so be a smart, because after that they fight, and after that they accept that one. We need something new. We need something that you may like start laughing at that one, okay? And so it's very good that in Mexico that we are making a new canal, Istmo de Catalina. You should help me. Tepec, yes. Yeah. Hopefully, Claudia Sheinbaum, who is like our colleague in the UNAM, is working on that one. I know that it is a little bit a stop, and hopefully we can have it. It's very important, and then Mexico is like a corazon of this like continent, and hopefully we can use this opportunity. They have very good infrastructure in Mexico. And and just be careful about the straits that is happening. Like for example, Saudi Arabia made like a live pipeline, but easily it can be destroyed by like Iranian missiles. Not good strategy, but they made it, and not that much maybe. So be careful. Read some studies. Like a quality breeds the quantity. Quantity breeds the quality, and you can talk about it. Okay, only the last like a 30 second. Be a specific table, having target, short-term, objective, mid-term, goal, long-term, having like a connected together with your suppliers, with your maybe business partners, and consider like a cost resilience simulation, ROI of resilience. you could convince your managers and use the recent technology drones or something like that. And these are my and just the final quote is that please make everything under control as much as you can. Okay. So and maybe you face a very maybe you will be heated, you will be destroyed your company from that point, from that side that you never thought about it. Okay, it's like a 360 degrees you should think about. Okay, just again, thank you very much for hearing me. I should be very punctual about the time, and so if you have any question, you can ask. I think we have 5 minutes about the question. Yes, Daniel.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Mustafa, for your presentation. Really insightful. I just wondering if someone else have any questions. You can raise your hand or send the question in the chat. I can start, for example, with some of your one part of your presentation where you mentioned that resilience is a choice. So if resilience is a choice, what do you think that maybe most firms are still just reacting to disruption instead of preparing for them?
Yeah, thank you very much for your question. First of all, I wanted to tell you at this point, associations like POMS are very helpful because we are like a knowledge edge according to our papers, or maybe different, like this presentation is very up to date, or the data from Statista from 2026. We should help the managers to convince them, especially we can go through the companies in terms of like a money cost and the ROI, the resilience infrastructures projects. Actually, first we can have them give them like a better visibility, introducing some projects about change management, calculate the cost of those projects, and simulate by digital twin. Simulate those projects to help the managers to avoid or escape from those maybe disruption. In Mexico, I am a consultant of Jack Mexico, a Chinese company that working here in Mexico. And usually I talk with the managers about this point, and hopefully, I think I know about POMS maybe 20 years ago. We were talking about a scheduling, sequencing of production line or something like that. But now, at the middle of 2026, we are talking about the hot topic and very interesting for managers. And hopefully we can help managers to give them the opportunity. And also, Daniel, I am ready to have the same maybe talk to the industrial managers, especially in Mexico. I can arrange if you want.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So does anyone have any question?
Yeah, about I think technologies and digital twins. Yes, technology is one of like a key secret that can help us, because I think in my opinion, the human being, they have some technologies at the same time they have that disruption. For example, like in COVID, we could find the technology that help us. Okay, so technology is very important, especially drone. I have a lot of slides about the automotive industry. Maybe another day we can talk especially about automotive industry. But drone and last mile delivery are very important, and using like a drone and recent technologies and digital twin. All of us are industrial engineers, maybe most of us. If you cannot analyze and have tests of that, like your customer is like a patient, so you cannot write a prescription. Digital twin is like the monitor next to your maybe the bed in hospital. And then my first recommendation for all of my students is that to start using or learning like a data analytics and how we can like have dashboard to have a digital twin. Without digital twin, we cannot understand because we don't have any visibility and we cannot convince our managers.
Very good.
Yeah.
I see
Ursula.
Do you want to ask a question?
Yes, hi, Professor. Nice to meet you. Thank
Hey,
you for
thank you.
everything.
Thank you.
I just wanted to go back to what you said, that you went over it really fast. I just wanted to ask for the just in time and just in case, what is like a recommendation you would say companies should take into consideration when transitioning?
Very good question. And very fast, I am answering your question. Uh, after World War II, some professors from United States went to Japan and they like a Deming and they proposed some maybe like Kaizen, continuous improvement, just in time because at that time cost was very important and Toyota declared that my almacenes, my warehouses are in the road. It means that whenever I need I have it my all my materials in hand. That's why we say just in time. The difference between on time and in time. On time is like 8 a.m. exactly, but in time is that before 8 a.m. So you understand, just in case is more than just in time. It says that the the cost is important. Yes, the customer satisfaction is important for tracking, but we think out of the box. The word case here, I love this word. The word case is here is that we are living in a chaos. Okay, so you should consider in case. In case means that so in case that we have a problem, in case that we have a war, in case that we have a blah blah. Okay, so for example, the war. You know that only from yesterday to today, Olambreza, can you say me that? Can you tell me how many percentage of the dollar USD currency in front of the Iranian real increased? Only one day.
I think it's around 10 to
Yeah.
12.
Only one day, more than 10% increasing in the currency. This is in case. Okay, let us do just in case. Have we thought about it? No. Have we have like a visibility? No. Like a dashboard? No. Okay. If you are driving, what is happening in the background of the dashboard of the car? For example, one alarm like a telling you in advance about the what is happening in the future about the brake. And Ursula, let me tell you these words. You know the difference between forecasting and prediction. Prediction, because of disaster, our grandparents, abuelos, they had like a prediction. You know, in Mexico, we say like a tarot. Tarot is like a by card. Okay? It's about prediction about your future because they understood the disaster. But even our supply chain managers, they don't use tarot. If they use tarot, I also follow them. Okay, but forecasting is based on the data. For example, weather is prediction or forecasting. Forecasting because you have some data. You say the weather forecasting, not weather prediction. Okay, so even prediction, I agree, but they don't have even like a tarot. Okay, so we need forecasting. How? Data. How? AI now. Okay, the more visibility, the more have a chance to pass. And this is like my last word. And again, I am repeating: don't afraid of the disasters. Don't afraid of the disruption. This is a chance. This is a chance to be better. Why not? You know what happened? Like Viva Mexico. Mexico, like it became the first one, like the winner in front of China. In front of the China, even the Zoom that we are using now. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Any other question?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I guess that I don't know if we'll have any more time for questions. I don't know if anyone have a question, but I just wanted to say like thank you very much for accepting our invitation for this webinar. And it's really insightful to see how resilience can be a choice for companies and try to promote like this mindset in companies in the present and the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation and the participants. And I can see some of my colleagues, Professor Neil, Professor Hussein, Catalina, and others, Andres, they came. Sorry, not to mentioning all of your name. And there was only one last question from Iker about the resilience infrastructure. As I showed you, this paper was published in 2025. Thank you for your question. I use this opportunity to say that if you want to work on like a master or PhD project, I recommend this one. How to calculate how to convince our managers to do resilience infrastructures, project, and investment and calculate the ROI. It is very important because honestly, they finally understand okay, we should convince them and give them like scenarios. Okay. Thank you very much, Daniel, Parcero.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.